Do I have a good one for you guys today? This one is called Mama's Baby, Daddy's, maybe, who knows? Who knows who the father is? Today we're going to talk about why you need to have DNA testing done when you have a baby out of wedlock or nowadays just period. I'm going to have you watch this video first. This was out of the UK where a man found out after his kids were 17, 20, and 21 that neither of the three boys were his. Take a look.
Now, a man who discovered after being diagnosed with the life-limiting illness cystic fibrosis that he couldn't be the father of his three sons because the condition causes lifelong infertility has told this programme the news left him feeling suicidal. Doctors revealed in 2016 that Richard Mason couldn't be the dad to the children who are now 19 and 23. Richard sued his wife of 20 years, Kate, and they recently reached a settlement of £250,000, with her admitting she'd had an affair while the couple had been married. Well, we spoke to Richard and his current partner, Emma.
When he said to me, "You've got cystic fibrosis," I immediately thought, oh my God, my sister died of that at 29. And her death was very hard for me because with cystic fibrosis, you slowly suffocate on your own phlegm. And it took her 2 years to eventually, waiting for a heart and lung transplant, and then she died on the operating theatre. So immediately I was just very saddened by that. But then when the discussion then turned to fertility, and he said, look, yourself and Emma, you're going to have difficulty having children because you are, as a man with cystic fibrosis, infertile. It was suddenly like being hit by a sledgehammer. I just went, oh my God, you suddenly realise that children aren't yours. So I said, well,
immediately you knew the significance of what he just said to you.
Yes.
Yes.
Both of you.
There were medical experts in the room, and it's impossible without IVF for a man with cystic fibrosis to have a baby.
So then I said, well, you must have the diagnosis wrong because I've already got 3 boys. But I sort of was like clutching at straws there. So after that, it became a complete blur for me because it was almost like, I don't know if you ever hit your head really, really hard and it's like a ringing and you can't see anything that's going on around you, you can't think of anything that's going on around you. It's almost like you just have this ringing in your ears, and it's all the implications of everything as a result of that start, flashing through your mind.
Like, what kind of questions are you then immediately asking yourself?
He just wanted to go straight to phone Kate, his ex-wife, say, Kate, spare me the dignity. Just tell me the truth. Was there anyone else?
When I managed to compose myself, it was about an hour later, I sent her a text and I said, look, and this text has been in the press, but it was actually repeated verbatim from what I sent to her, and it's still on my phone now. I said to her, look, I've just been diagnosed with cystic fibrosis. I'm not expecting you to be sympathetic about that because she's a very hard person. And but the reason I'm telling you is that the boys are not likely to have been fathered by me. Now, obviously, there's something's gone on. And if you are honest about it with me, I don't intend to sue you. And you can decide how you want to tell the boys. If you want me to be there at the same time, that's fine. But if you lie to me, then I will take action, and I'll decide how I'm telling the boys. And the immediate response I got back was, I am sympathetic, but whatever science says, those boys will always be yours. She was completely denying that I wasn't the biological father. So up until the court case only a few weeks ago, she was still saying, even with DNA evidence, I'm sorry, the DNA evidence must be flawed.
And the court case
You're the biological father.
Settled that, yeah.
So, if I am the biological father, those boys will all have a risk of having cystic fibrosis. They all need to tell their insurance companies. They need to tell their potential partners their children might have cystic fibrosis. I wouldn't even be allowed to meet them because people with cystic fibrosis cannot meet other people with cystic fibrosis because they cross-infect. So by going via my solicitor, finally, she then, a few weeks ago, said, actually, I accept. You're not the biological father. The boys have got no chance of having cystic fibrosis from me. I can meet them now, and they're free of knowing that they've got a potential genetic disease.
Understood. Do you know who the father is?
I've no idea.
Why have you offered a £5,000 rewards to find out?
I was toying with that
man.
as a strategy
That's
because
terrible.
what I feel like
That's
is
straight terrible.
2/5 of my life, 20 odd years of my life, have been a complete lie. The person I thought I was, I'm not. The relationship I had with the boys is not the same as I thought it was. A wife that I thought was loyal, but I had to divorce because we didn't get on, was not. So what I want to do is sit down with this guy and say, were you there in their life? When I was watching them play football, were you there? Did you buy them Christmas presents? How did you deal with the first pregnancy? You know, did you know about the pregnancies? Were you there for the second pregnancy?
You want to meet him and you want to ask those
Yeah, you want to
questions?
find out what happened. It's almost like you've been in a coma for 20 years and you wake up and you think, God, this guy is a significant participant in my life that I have never met.
Told you this one's going to be a wild one today, didn't I? It doesn't make any damn sense. When you look at that video, a lot of men were probably getting pretty damn pissed off because all the way throughout it, no matter what, she was lying. She was lying. That means that for years, this woman was having sex with somebody else, unprotected. She could have brought anything back to him. Had 3 boys. Had no idea who the father was, but she likely knew that it wasn't him because, as he stated, the boys didn't really look like him. See, I didn't show you part of the video where he explained when she asked if he had, any inkling that there was something going on. He said he noticed that the boys had dark hair, all over their body, and he didn't really have hair on his body outside of his head. And, he wondered, but he didn't really think anything about it because, of course, the way that women get away with this is that no man really wants to believe that his woman is having sex with somebody else, especially unprotected, and especially for that length of time. So men are oblivious sometimes. So now that you know that, another reason why I did this is because within the past few years, some friends of mine and relatives found out that the man who was married to their mother, the man who was supposedly their father, wasn't. And you know how they found out? Ancestry, some of those, different ones for the different DNA testing things. It's really been bringing a bunch of stuff to light. So how would you like to find out that after you're 50 years old or after you're 60 years old, that your father, who's now deceased, wasn't your father? So he never knew. At least you didn't know that he knew. And the guy who really is your father, he's deceased as well. So you can't even go and meet him. Now there's one who was able to go and meet their father and was able to meet some of their siblings. Does that change anything? No. That means that these women are taking this stuff to their grave and are still, no matter what, if they are alive, they don't really want to hear about it. And they may be pissed off at you for even bringing it up. That brings me to some of these shows. If you look at like Judge Lauren Lake, you see it all the time. People coming in their 30s and 40s. The woman was married to this man. He's taking care of this girl. He's taking care of his son. Turns out, not his. People are devastated. But what is missing out of almost each and every one of those shows is their sympathy for the father. We keep hearing that, it's just about the child. First of all, these people are damn adults. They're not children anymore. And to the ones who are even children, it's not just about the child. They act like the man's feelings don't count. And as a man, you want to you're proud that you have spread your seed, that you have, your family name is going to keep on going, especially if you have a son, or just your bloodline is going to keep going on, and to find out that it's not, and you've put your love and care into this child. Some people are pissed to the point where, yeah, they want to lay hands, that they want to do something, that they may even want to kill somebody. Now, I wouldn't suggest any of that, but I understand, because it is a very big deal for somebody to do that to you. And some of them end up laughing about it. Oh, you didn't have to do it. Well, you're saying that, a man didn't have to take care of a child. I call bullshit. Because we do. And we try to. All right? Can't speak for everybody, but most of the guys I know are very damn good fathers. Now, here's the problem. The problem is that quite often you're going to have everybody in your damn ear telling you that, oh, you don't need a DNA test. Oh, that's your kid, this, that, and the other. Or it looked just like you. The hell with all these damn people. Even if the mother is pissed off at you for getting a DNA test, get it. Because that $600 that they charge you, or whatever it might be, if you do it on your own, it's going to be by far a lot less than the pain and suffering you're going to have to deal with from dealing with her and you don't want to, and from finding out later on that this kid possibly isn't yours. This way you know from the very beginning. So it doesn't make a difference. Sometimes, some guys, if you're raised by a single mother, I've seen it on some of these shows where they're giving this guy terrible advice because it's their son, because for the most part they're believing that, well, you should just accept it, and be a real man. Yeah, woman, I'm sorry, but the best thing that a woman can do is tell a man what type of man she likes, and quite often she doesn't even really know that. But you cannot tell a man how to be a man and what constitutes being a man. Just like a man can only tell you what type of woman he wants. He can't tell you what it means to be a woman. So y'all need to stop that garbage, all right? So that people need to just take responsibility for what they've done. One of the things that has also come up is that now that we keep finding out that all these women were actually out there having more sex than these men that they always said were terrible and cheating on them, and they were bringing back babies. At least these women now we know were bringing back babies that didn't belong to their husbands. What does that do for all these sob stories about women saying that all these men were terrible, this, that, and the other? We're finding out now that it was a lot of the same going around. But the moral to this story is that no matter what, I believe that the law should require there to be DNA test. But for the most part, they don't care. They can make you a de facto father if you miss a hearing, which should never actually happen. You should always be able to have that test done. But what should happen is that it should be required. That way we know who the father is, because we already know who the mother is. Whether you like it or not, that's objectively reasonable. Now, I want you to like this, subscribe, share it, comment. I know there's going to be some comments, but I look forward to hearing you and seeing you next time. Later.